You know what's absolutely mind-blowing? There are people walking around this planet who seem to have money chasing them down the street, begging to get into their wallets, while others work themselves to exhaustion and still can't seem to keep $1 in their pocket long enough to take a family photo with it. And before you roll your eyes and think, "Oh great, another person telling me some people are just lucky," let me stop you right there. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't about luck, genetics, or having rich parents. It's about 7 invisible laws that govern money like gravity governs objects, whether you know about them or not. And here's the kicker. Once you understand these laws and start working with them instead of against them, money stops being that mysterious, unpredictable force that keeps you up at night counting bills. It becomes as reliable and responsive as your morning coffee maker. I know that sounds almost too simple, but stick with me because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you think about wealth, abundance, and your own power to create financial freedom. See, most people spend their entire lives fighting against these laws without even knowing they exist. They're like someone trying to fly by flapping their arms harder, not understanding that there's a law of aerodynamics they need to work with. They push, they struggle, they stress, and then they wonder why money feels so heavy, so difficult, so elusive. But imagine for a moment if you knew exactly which buttons to press to make money flow toward you naturally. Imagine if you understood the invisible rules that wealthy people follow, often without even realizing it. That's what we're diving into today. The 7 divine laws that control your money, and more importantly, how to align yourself with them so completely that abundance becomes your new normal, not the exception. You've been working hard, I know you have. You're not lazy, you're not irresponsible, and you're certainly not asking for too much. But here's the truth that's going to set you free. Your relationship with money isn't determined by how hard you work. It's determined by how well you align with these universal laws. And when I say universal, I mean they work the same way for everyone, everywhere, every single time. No exceptions, no favorites, no discrimination. Rich people aren't special, they're just aligned. And today, you're going to learn how to get aligned too. Let's start with something that's going to sound absolutely crazy until you really think about it. Money is alive. Not alive like your pet goldfish, but alive in the sense that it responds to energy, emotion, and intention. It has a consciousness that reacts to how you treat it, think about it, and speak to it. And this brings us to the first divine law, the law of vibration. Everything in existence vibrates at a specific frequency, including money. Your thoughts vibrate, your words vibrate, your emotions vibrate. And here's where it gets interesting. Money is drawn to vibrations that match its own frequency. What's money's frequency? Appreciation, gratitude, confidence, and flow. What repels money? Fear, desperation, resentment, and stagnation. Think about it like this. Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to have this magnetic quality around money? They talk about it easily, they handle it confidently, they spend it without anxiety, and somehow more just keeps coming. That's not coincidence. That's vibrational alignment. They're broadcasting on money's favorite radio station. Meanwhile, most people are broadcasting on the frequency of lack, worry, and frustration, then wondering why money keeps changing the channel. Every time you say, "I can't afford that," you're vibrating lack. Every time you stress about paying bills, you're vibrating scarcity. Every time you resent people who have more than you, you're vibrating separation from abundance. But here's the beautiful part. You can change your vibration instantly. Right now, as you're hearing this, you can choose to shift into the frequency of abundance. It starts with a simple recognition: money isn't your enemy. It's energy looking for a welcoming home. When you stop fighting with money and start dancing with it, everything changes. I want you to try something. Think about money right now. Not your bills, not your debt, not your lack, just money itself. Can you find a way to feel grateful for it? Can you appreciate what it allows you to do, the choices it gives you, the comfort it provides? That feeling right there, that's the vibration that attracts more money. Your homework for today is simple. Every time you touch money, physically touch it, say thank you. Every time you spend money, bless it as it leaves your hands. Every time you think about money, smile. I know it sounds silly, but wealthy people do this naturally. They have a loving relationship with money, and money loves them back. Now, let's talk about the second divine law. And this one is going to blow your mind, because it's probably the opposite of everything you've been taught. It's the law of circulation. Most people think the secret to wealth is holding on to money, saving every penny, hoarding it like a dragon guarding gold. But here's the truth. Money is like water. When water stops flowing, it becomes stagnant, then it becomes toxic. Money follows the same principle. It needs to move, to flow, to circulate. The universe operates on a system of give and take, expansion and contraction, breathing in and breathing out. When you hoard money out of fear, you're holding your breath financially. And just like you can't hold your breath forever, you can't hold money forever without suffocating your abundance. The wealthy understand this intuitively. They're not afraid to spend money because they know that spending creates space for more to come in. They tip generously, they invest boldly, they give freely, and somehow they never run out. Why? Because they're working with the law of circulation, not against it. But here's the key, and this is where most people get it wrong. You don't circulate money from fear or desperation. You don't spend your last dollar hoping the universe will magically replace it. That's not circulation, that's gambling. True circulation comes from a place of confidence and trust. You give because you know there's more coming. You spend because you believe in abundance. You invest because you trust in return. Think of yourself as a channel for money, not a storage container. Channels allow energy to flow through them. Storage containers try to hold everything in. Which one do you think the universe prefers to send money through? Here's a practical exercise that will change your entire relationship with money. Tomorrow, find someone to bless with money. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, just whatever feels comfortable but slightly stretching for you. Maybe it's buying coffee for the person behind you in line. Maybe it's tipping your server extra. Maybe it's donating to a cause you believe in. But here's the crucial part. When you give that money, say this out loud or in your mind, "What I give freely returns to me multiplied." Feel the truth of those words. You're not losing money, you're planting it. And money seeds, when planted with love and faith, always grow into money trees. This brings us to the third divine law, which is perhaps the most powerful and the most misunderstood. It's the law of expectation. Your subconscious mind is like the most loyal employee you've ever had. It takes your expectations as direct orders and works tirelessly to make them reality. If you expect struggle, it creates struggle. If you expect lack, it creates lack. If you expect abundance, well, you get the picture. But here's where most people trip up. They say they want abundance, but they expect problems. They affirm prosperity, but they prepare for poverty. They pray for breakthroughs, but they brace for breakdowns. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you expect. And your expectations are revealed not by your words, but by your emotions, your preparations, your automatic thoughts. When you check your bank balance, what do you expect to see? When bills arrive, what do you expect to feel? When opportunities arise, what do you expect to happen? These expectations are programming your subconscious mind every single day. Most people have been programmed to expect financial struggle because that's what they've experienced or witnessed. But here's the beautiful truth. You can reprogram your expectations starting right now. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you think about your to-do list, set your financial expectation for the day. Say something like, "I expect money to flow to me today in expected and unexpected ways. I expect opportunities for increase. I expect financial blessings and abundance." Then go about your day actually expecting these things to happen. Look for them, anticipate them. When someone mentions a business idea, perk up. When you see a penny on the ground, pick it up with gratitude. When unexpected money comes, even if it's just a refund or a forgotten 20 in your pocket, celebrate it as confirmation that your expectations are manifesting. The universe loves to surprise people who expect good things, but it rarely surprises people who expect nothing or expect the worst. Your expectations are like magnets. Make sure they're attracting what you actually want. The fourth divine law is one that will completely revolutionize how you think about wealth creation. It's the law of value. Most people believe that money comes from working hard, putting in hours, trading time for dollars, but that's not how the universe works, and it's definitely not how wealthy people work. Money doesn't flow to hard work. Money flows to value. Value is the bridge between your gifts and someone else's needs. When you provide value that solves problems, improves lives, or fulfills desires, money flows naturally toward you. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter by aligning your efforts with what the world needs and wants. Think about the wealthiest people you know or know of. Are they the hardest workers? Sometimes, but not always. What they are is valuable. They provide solutions, they create experiences, they fill gaps in the marketplace. They've discovered their unique gifts and found ways to share them with the world in exchange for money. But here's what's beautiful about this law. Everyone has value to offer. Everyone has gifts, talents, perspectives, and experiences that can benefit others. The key is recognizing your value and then finding ways to package it and share it. Maybe you're great at organizing things. That's valuable to someone who's drowning in chaos. Maybe you're a natural listener. That's valuable to someone who feels unheard. Maybe you make amazing cookies. That's valuable to someone craving homemade comfort. The universe has given you everything you need to create wealth. You just need to recognize it and activate it. Start by asking yourself these questions. What do people always come to me for help with? What compliments do I receive regularly? What feels easy and natural to me that others struggle with? These are clues to your value. Once you identify your value, the next step is to find ways to share it more broadly. This doesn't necessarily mean starting a business, though it could. It might mean asking for a raise based on the value you provide at work. It might mean starting a side hustle based on your skills. It might mean creating content around your expertise. The point is to stop hiding your light under a bushel and start letting it shine where people can see it and benefit from it. When you align with the law of value, work stops feeling like work because you're doing what you're naturally gifted at. Money stops feeling scarce because you're creating it through service. And abundance starts feeling natural because you're in the flow of give and receive. Now we come to the fifth divine law, and this one is going to challenge everything you think you know about control. It's the law of trust. Most people try to control every aspect of their financial journey. They need to know exactly how money will come, when it will arrive, and through which door it will enter. But the universe has a much bigger imagination than you do, and it often delivers abundance through channels you never could have predicted or planned for. The law of trust requires you to do your part, plant your seeds, take inspired action, and then release control of the how and when. It's like planting a garden. You plant the seeds, water them, give them sunlight, but you don't dig them up every day to check if they're growing. You trust the process. When you try to control every aspect of your financial flow, you actually restrict it. You're like someone trying to direct a river with their bare hands. The river has its own intelligence, its own path, its own timing. Your job is not to control the river, your job is to flow with it. This doesn't mean being passive or lazy. Trust is actually very active. It means taking inspired action without attachment to specific outcomes. It means following opportunities even when you can't see where they lead. It means saying yes to possibilities even when they don't fit your predetermined plan. I know this can be scary, especially when bills are due and your logical mind is screaming for certainty. But here's what I've learned. The universe's timeline is always perfect, even when it doesn't match your timeline. Sometimes what feels like delay is actually divine protection. Sometimes what looks like a detour is actually a shortcut. Sometimes what seems like a closed door is just the universe redirecting you to a better door. Practice trust by celebrating small financial surprises. When you find a coupon, when you get a discount, when someone treats you to lunch, say thank you, universe. I trust you have bigger surprises coming. When you encounter financial challenges, instead of panicking, try saying, I trust this is leading to something better. I trust the universe has a plan. This doesn't mean being irresponsible or ignoring practical matters. It means handling practical matters from a place of trust rather than fear. Pay your bills with trust that more money is coming. Apply for opportunities with trust that the right ones will open. Make decisions with trust that you're being guided. When you align with the law of trust, you stop exhausting yourself trying to control everything, and you start allowing the universe to surprise you with its generosity. The sixth divine law is perhaps the most transformative of all, and it's the law of gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a nice spiritual practice, it's a magnetic force that attracts abundance like nothing else can. When you're genuinely grateful for what you have, even if it's not much, you signal to the universe that you're ready for more. When you complain about what you don't have, you signal that you're focused on lack. Guess which signal the universe responds to with more abundance? But here's the thing about gratitude that most people miss. It's not about pretending everything is perfect or denying your challenges. True gratitude is about finding genuine appreciation for what's working in your life right now, even in the midst of difficulty. It's about recognizing that you've been provided for up to this point and trusting that you'll continue to be provided for. Think about it. You woke up today. That's something to be grateful for. You have access to this message, which means you have some form of technology and internet. That's abundance. You have air to breathe, probably a roof over your head, likely food available to you. Even if money is tight, you're rich in ways that billions of people can only dream of. When you start your day by acknowledging these blessings, you set a frequency of abundance that attracts more abundance. But gratitude isn't just about big picture appreciation. It's about finding joy and thankfulness in small financial moments throughout your day. When you find a parking spot, be grateful for the money saved. When you get a good deal on something, celebrate the abundance. When someone buys you lunch or coffee, receive it with genuine appreciation. These moments of financial gratitude train your subconscious to expect more good things. They also shift your energy from scarcity to abundance, which is magnetic to money. Here's a simple practice that will revolutionize your finances. Every night before bed, write down 3 financial things you're grateful for from that day. They can be tiny, like finding a quarter, or significant, like landing a new client. But find 3 things every single day. At first, this might feel forced or difficult. That's normal. Your brain has been trained to notice problems, not blessings. But as you practice this consistently, you'll start noticing more and more financial good in your life. And what you notice expands. Within a few weeks of this practice, you'll start seeing money and opportunities that were always there, but you were blind to them because you were focused on lack. Gratitude is like putting on abundance glasses. Suddenly, you see prosperity everywhere. The 7th and final divine law is the law of alignment, and it brings everything together beautifully. This law states that when your thoughts, words, emotions, and actions are all pointed in the same direction toward abundance, the universe has no choice but to deliver abundance to you. It's like having all the tumblers in a lock click into place. When you think abundance, speak abundance, feel abundance, and act from abundance, you become an irresistible magnet for money. But most people are misaligned. They think one thing, say another, feel something else, and act from fear. They want abundance, but they think scarcity. They affirm prosperity, but they speak lack. They desire wealth, but they feel unworthy. This misalignment creates mixed signals that confuse the universe and block the flow of money. Perfect alignment doesn't happen overnight, but you can start moving toward it immediately. It begins with awareness. Start paying attention to your thoughts about money throughout the day. Notice when you think fearful thoughts or limiting thoughts. Don't judge them, just notice them. Then gently redirect your thoughts toward abundance. Listen to your words about money. Do you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," or "money is tight," or "I'm broke"? Again, don't judge, just notice, then choose different words. Start saying things like, "I'm choosing to spend my money elsewhere," or "I'm in a temporary financial transition," or "money is flowing to me in perfect timing." Pay attention to your emotions around money. Do you feel stressed when paying bills? Anxious when thinking about the future? Resentful when others have more? These emotions are valid, but they're not serving your abundance. Practice shifting into emotions of trust, gratitude, and expectation. And finally, observe your actions. Do your actions match your desired abundance? Are you investing in yourself? Are you taking care of what you have? Are you positioning yourself for opportunities? Alignment is a daily practice, not a one-time event. But every moment you spend in alignment is a moment you're attracting abundance. And the more aligned you become, the faster and more powerfully money flows to you. These 7 divine laws aren't just theories or concepts. They're living principles that govern the flow of money in your life right now. The question isn't whether they work. The question is whether you're working with them or against them. Starting today, you can begin aligning with these laws and watching your financial reality transform in ways that will amaze you. Now that you understand these 7 divine laws, let's talk about what happens when you start applying them. Because knowing the laws isn't enough. You have to live them, breathe them, embody them, until they become as natural as breathing. And I'll be honest with you, the first few weeks of applying these laws can feel strange, almost like you're pretending or playing a role. That's normal. You're rewiring decades of conditioning about money, and your old programming is going to resist. Your logical mind is going to say things like, "This is ridiculous. You're just talking to yourself about money," or "Gratitude doesn't pay bills," or "This positive thinking stuff doesn't work." When those thoughts arise, and they will, just smile and remember that your logical mind only knows what it's experienced before. It doesn't know what's possible. It's like a computer that can only process information it's been programmed with, but you're about to upgrade your programming. The first thing you'll notice as you apply these laws is a shift in how money feels to you. It stops feeling heavy, scary, or overwhelming. Instead, it starts feeling lighter, more playful, more available. You'll find yourself having different conversations about money. Instead of complaining about bills, you might find yourself talking about opportunities. Instead of worrying about lack, you might find yourself excited about possibilities. This shift in your inner relationship with money is the foundation of everything else that follows. Next, you'll start noticing what I call abundance synchronicities. Small amounts of money will start showing up in unexpected ways. You might find cash in old clothes, receive unexpected refunds, get surprise bonuses, or have people suddenly pay back money they owed you. These aren't coincidences. They're the universe's way of saying, "I'm listening, and I'm responding to your new vibration." Don't dismiss these small signs as meaningless. Celebrate them as evidence that the laws are working. Each celebration amplifies your alignment with abundance. As you continue applying these laws, larger opportunities will begin presenting themselves. You might get offered a better job, a freelance opportunity, a business partnership, or an investment opportunity. The key is to recognize these as gifts from the universe and to act on them with faith rather than fear. Remember, the law of trust requires you to say yes to opportunities even when you can't see the complete picture. What's fascinating is how quickly these laws can work when you're truly aligned with them. I've seen people experience financial breakthroughs within days or weeks of starting to apply these principles. But I've also seen people take months or even years because they keep oscillating between faith and fear, between alignment and resistance. The speed of your results depends on your consistency and your willingness to trust the process, even when you can't see immediate evidence. Here's something important to understand about resistance. Your subconscious mind is designed to keep you safe, and safe to your subconscious mind means familiar. If struggle with money has been familiar to you, your subconscious will actually try to recreate that struggle to keep you in your comfort zone. This is why some people sabotage their success just as it's beginning to arrive. They'll make a bad financial decision, avoid an opportunity, or find a reason to reject abundance. If you notice yourself doing this, don't beat yourself up. Just recognize it as old programming running its course, and gently redirect yourself back to alignment with the laws. Another thing you might notice is that some relationships in your life become strained as you start embodying these laws. This happens because you're changing, and change can be threatening to people who are comfortable with the old version of you. Some people might criticize your new relationship with money, call your practices silly, or try to pull you back into conversations about lack and limitation. This is actually a sign that you're on the right track. You're vibrating at a different frequency, and not everyone is ready to match that frequency. Stay compassionate with people who don't understand your journey, but don't let their doubt contaminate your faith. Surround yourself as much as possible with people who support your growth and share your belief in abundance. As you continue applying these laws, you'll start to see patterns in how money flows to you. Maybe you're particularly good at attracting money through creative projects. Maybe opportunities come to you through relationships. Maybe you excel at finding undervalued investments. Pay attention to these patterns because they're clues to your unique abundance blueprint. The universe doesn't deliver abundance the same way to everyone. It works with your particular gifts, interests, and circumstances to create a custom pathway to prosperity for you. One of the most beautiful things about mastering these divine laws is that abundance becomes sustainable. Unlike people who make money through struggle or luck and then lose it, when you're aligned with these laws, you create a steady flow of abundance that continues to grow over time. You're not just getting money, you're becoming a person who naturally attracts and maintains money. This transformation affects every area of your life, not just your bank account. When you're aligned with abundance, you feel more confident, more peaceful, more generous, more creative. You start taking better care of yourself because you recognize your value. You start making decisions from possibility rather than fear. You start seeing opportunities everywhere instead of obstacles. But perhaps the most profound shift is in how you relate to other people. When you're no longer operating from financial fear, you can be genuinely happy for others' success. You can give freely without keeping score. You can receive graciously without guilt or suspicion. You realize that there's enough abundance for everyone, and another person's wealth doesn't diminish your own. This shift in consciousness is magnetic. People want to be around you, work with you, support you, because your energy feels good. You become a person who creates value wherever you go, and the universe responds by sending you more opportunities to create and receive value. As you master these laws, you might also find yourself called to help others understand them. This is natural and beautiful. Abundance loves to be shared, and when you help others align with these laws, you strengthen your own alignment. You become a channel for abundance not just for yourself, but for everyone you touch. Some of you might be thinking, this all sounds wonderful, but what about practical matters? What about budgets and investments and financial planning? Here's the thing. These divine laws don't replace practical financial wisdom, they enhance it. When you're aligned with these laws, you make better financial decisions because you're operating from clarity rather than fear. You're more likely to invest wisely, spend consciously, and save strategically because you're thinking from abundance rather than scarcity. The laws also help you attract the right financial advisors, opportunities, and resources to support your practical financial goals. But the foundation of everything is your relationship with money itself, and that's what these laws transform. I want to share something personal with you because I think it's important for you to know that I understand what it's like to struggle with money. There was a time in my life when these laws would have seemed impossible to believe because my experience was so far from abundance. I remember checking my bank balance and feeling that familiar pit in my stomach. I remember the anxiety of unexpected expenses and the exhaustion of constantly worrying about money. I remember feeling like no matter what I did, I couldn't get ahead. But here's what changed everything for me. I started treating these laws not as wishful thinking, but as experiments. I decided to test them scientifically. What if I spoke differently about money for 30 days and tracked what happened? What if I practiced gratitude for money for a week and noticed any changes? What if I started giving small amounts and observed the results? This experimental approach took the pressure off. I wasn't trying to believe something that felt impossible. I was simply testing whether these principles had any validity. And slowly, gradually, consistently, they proved themselves to be true. Small amounts of money started appearing. Opportunities began presenting themselves. My relationship with money softened and became more playful. Larger amounts started flowing. Eventually, I realized that these weren't just techniques I was using, they had become who I was. I had embodied these laws so completely that abundance felt natural, expected, normal, and that's what I want for you. not just techniques to apply, but a complete transformation of your financial identity. The person listening to this message has everything they need to apply these 7 divine laws starting today. You don't need special credentials, perfect circumstances, or a particular background. You just need willingness to experiment, patience with the process, and faith in your own worthiness of abundance. Because you are worthy. Not because you've earned it or deserve it based on your actions, but because worthiness is your birthright. The universe created you as a being capable of experiencing abundance in all its forms. Money is just one expression of the infinite abundance that's available to you. These 7 divine laws are your roadmap back to that natural state of abundance. Use them wisely, apply them consistently, and trust them completely. Your abundant life is not just possible, it's inevitable when you align with these universal principles. Now let's get practical, because knowing these laws is one thing, but living them daily is where the transformation happens. I want to give you a simple daily routine that incorporates all 7 laws, something you can start today and continue for the rest of your life. Think of this as your abundance workout, a daily practice that strengthens your alignment with prosperity. When you wake up each morning, before you check your phone or get caught up in the day's demands, spend 5 minutes setting your financial frequency. This is when you activate the law of vibration. Sit quietly, take a few deep breaths, and consciously choose to vibrate abundance. Say something like, "Today, I align my energy with prosperity. I am a magnet for money, opportunities, and abundance." Feel these words in your body, not just your mind. Throughout the day, practice the law of circulation by giving something, anything, with love. It could be money, but it doesn't have to be. Maybe you give your time to help a colleague, your attention to listen to a friend, or your skills to solve someone's problem. The act of giving keeps energy moving through you, creating space for more to come in. When you give, remember to say, "What I give freely returns to me multiplied." For the law of expectation, start each morning by setting a clear intention for financial blessings to flow to you that day. Don't be vague. Say something specific like, "I expect money to come to me today in expected and unexpected ways. I expect opportunities, ideas, and abundance." Then throughout the day, actually look for these things, expect them to appear, and celebrate when they do. The law of value requires you to consciously look for ways to serve others with your unique gifts. Ask yourself daily, how can I add value to someone's life today? This doesn't mean working for free or sacrificing yourself. It means being intentional about sharing your gifts in ways that benefit others. When you do this consistently, opportunities for financial compensation naturally follow. To honor the law of trust, practice releasing control at least once daily. When you catch yourself worrying about money or trying to force an outcome, take a breath and say, "I trust the universe has a plan better than anything I could create." I release control and allow abundance to flow. This doesn't mean being passive, it means taking inspired action while releasing attachment to specific results. The law of gratitude gets activated through your evening abundance review. Before bed, write down 3 things you're financially grateful for from that day. They can be small, like getting a good parking spot, or large, like receiving a payment. The key is consistency. This practice rewires your brain to notice abundance instead of lack. And finally, the law of alignment requires you to regularly check in with yourself throughout the day. Ask, are my thoughts, words, emotions, and actions aligned with abundance right now? When you notice misalignment, gently correct it. If you catch yourself thinking fearful thoughts, redirect to thoughts of possibility. If you hear yourself speaking lack, choose words of abundance instead. This daily routine might seem simple, but don't underestimate its power. Simple practices, done consistently, create extraordinary results. The key is consistency, not perfection. If you miss a day, simply start again the next day. If you forget to apply a law, apply it as soon as you remember. The universe responds to your overall direction, not your momentary lapses. As you practice this routine, you'll start to notice that these laws become second nature. You won't have to think about vibrating abundance. You'll just naturally do it. You won't have to remind yourself to be grateful. It will become automatic. You won't have to force yourself to trust. It will become your default mode. This is when you know you've truly mastered the divine laws that control your money. Now, I know some of you are wondering about specific financial goals. How do I apply these laws to get out of debt? Or, how do I use these laws to buy a house? Or, how do I apply these principles to grow my business? The beautiful thing about these laws is that they work regardless of your specific financial situation or goals. Whether you want to pay off credit cards, save for retirement, start a business, or create passive income streams, these laws provide the energetic foundation for achieving any financial objective. However, let me be clear about something important. These laws are not a substitute for practical financial education and action. They work in harmony with practical steps, not instead of them. If you want to get out of debt, you still need a debt payoff strategy. If you want to invest, you still need to learn about investments. If you want to start a business, you still need to understand business principles. What these laws do is align your energy and consciousness to attract the knowledge, opportunities, and resources you need to achieve your goals. They make the practical steps easier, more effective, and more enjoyable. They help you make better decisions, attract the right people, and spot opportunities you might otherwise miss. Think of these laws as the soil and practical action as the seeds. You need both for abundant harvest. Rich, fertile soil with no seeds produces nothing. Good seeds in poor soil struggle to grow. But when you combine aligned consciousness with practical action, you create optimal conditions for financial growth and success. The most successful people, whether they realize it or not, operate in alignment with these laws while also taking consistent, intelligent action toward their goals. They think like abundant people, speak like abundant people, feel like abundant people, and act like abundant people. This complete alignment is what creates the extraordinary financial results that others marvel at and wonder how to replicate. As we come to the close of our exploration of these 7 divine laws, I want to leave you with a powerful truth that ties everything together. Money is not your goal. Freedom is. Money is simply a tool that can help you create the freedom to live according to your values, to spend time with people you love, to pursue activities that fulfill you, and to contribute to causes that matter to you. When you understand that money serves freedom, not the other way around, your entire relationship with wealth transforms. You stop chasing money for its own sake and start attracting it as a natural byproduct of aligned living. The 7 divine laws we've discussed are really laws of aligned living. When you vibrate at the frequency of your authentic self, when you circulate your gifts freely, when you expect good things because you know you're worthy of them, when you provide value because it feels natural to serve, when you trust because you know you're supported, when you feel grateful because you recognize abundance is everywhere, and when you align all aspects of yourself with truth, money becomes a natural expression of this alignment. This is why some people can make money easily, while others struggle no matter how hard they try. It's not about working harder, it's about aligning deeper. It's not about learning more techniques, it's about embodying more truth. It's not about forcing outcomes, it's about allowing your natural abundance to flow. You have everything you need within you right now to begin applying these laws. You don't need special circumstances, more education, different relationships, or a better economy. You just need to begin where you are with what you have. Start with the law of vibration by choosing thoughts that feel good when you think them. Continue with the law of circulation by giving something, anything, with love today. Activate the law of expectation by expecting something wonderful to happen with your finances this week. Honor the law of value by sharing your gifts with someone who needs them. Practice the law of trust by releasing control of one financial worry. Express the law of gratitude by acknowledging 3 financial blessings in your life right now. And embody the law of alignment by making one decision today from abundance rather than fear. These 7 laws are not temporary techniques to use until your finances improve. They are permanent principles for creating a life of sustained abundance and freedom. Master them, live them, and teach them to others. Your abundant life is not coming someday in the future. It begins the moment you align with these eternal laws. The universe is ready to support your abundance. The question is, are you ready to receive it?